Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This video is going to be all about jaw surgery and my 6 weeks recovery. So let's start. Before surgery, I wasn't that nervous. I was more excited because I had a 10mm underbite. So I was really excited to get rid of it and finally be able to eat properly. I had to be at the hospital at 6 a.m. because my surgery was scheduled to be at 7:40 a.m. Everything was going well, and then once I got my surgery gown and the nurses came and talked to me and asked me questions, that's when I started crying. I was just terrified of the IV that they put in your hand to put you asleep. And this random lady just walks in that little room that I was in and is like, okay, I'm gonna do blood work now. And I just started bawling my eyes out. She sticks the needle right there, started taking blood out from me right before surgery. I was a hot mess. So then I went into this other room where you wait for your surgery. There was about 8 of us waiting to get rolled into our operation room. And there I met with my surgeon for the last time. And he was like, he told my parents, I'll call you guys after surgery. Everything's gonna go well, everything like that. And he's like, do you have any questions? And then I met with the anesthesiast and I told him I was scared of needles. So he suggested that I take the gas mask that they put on your face. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. I just don't want to get the needle in my arm when I'm wide awake. And then this other anesthesiast walked by me, by my bed in the waiting room. And he saw me crying and he's like, oh, I wish I could be your anesthesiast. I wish, but I'm on another case. Everything's gonna go well. You know, we're all really good people here. And that, even though I didn't know him, it did reassure me to a certain degree. And then the nurse that walked me to the operation room came and talked to me. And she was like, okay, in the surgery room, you'll see a bunch of stuff, but we're not gonna use all of it. So don't be scared. And she just reassured me and she went through the process with me pretty much. And then she rolled me out of that little waiting room into the hallway where all the operation rooms are. And then I walked in the operation room. So the surgery took around 6 hours. And then I was rolled into the recovery room. So recovery room is where everyone goes after surgery. And you just wait until you're healthy enough to leave if you have a day surgery. In my case, I had to wait until my room got ready because I stayed in the hospital for 2 nights. So I really like being in the recovery room because I pretty much had a nurse to myself. So if I felt like I was going to puke, I would just raise my hand and she'd come right away and talk to me and see me, give me more Gravol or pain meds or anything. And I remember the first thing I asked in the recovery room when I woke up, she gave me a pen and paper. And the first thing I asked was, am I wired shut or elastic shut? Because if the surgery goes well, you're elastic shut. But if it doesn't go well, if your bottom jaw breaks awkwardly or into little pieces, I would have to be wired shut for 6 weeks. But thankfully, I was only elastic shut. And then around 6 p.m. is when I actually got to my hospital room. So I spent all day in recovery room, not knowing really where I was or what was going on. And my parents didn't actually know where I was either. So a little story time. Since my parents didn't know where I was, my mom was just walking up and down the hospital hallways waiting for me. And she ran into the anesthesiast that came and talked to me the morning of. And said oh, I wish I would have been your anesthesiast and all that. And he asked her, have you seen your daughter yet? And she was like, no, I don't know where she is. I'm worried because I don't know what's happening. It says she's been out of surgery, but it's been 5 hours and I still haven't seen her. So he worked up his magic and was able to bring her in the recovery room to see me. The recovery room is a huge room. There was probably around, I want to say 40 to 80 people there just recovering from the surgery they just had. So my mom was really lucky to be able to walk in with that anesthesiast to come and see me right after surgery. And then at 6 p.m. I went to my room And my room was so nice. I had my own bathroom, my own shower, everything to myself. 7:30 p.m. that first night of like surgery, my surgeon came and talked to me, and he's like, surgery went really well. I was barely even swollen. Like my cheeks were they were a bit chubbier, and like my chin. But some people, when they come out, they're like very swollen, and I wasn't that swollen, so it was pretty good. And then my parents left. They went back home for the night, and that's when I started puking. It was so gross. So every time, so I had a splint in my mouth. It was like a piece of plastic stuck to my top teeth, so I couldn't really open it because it was really hard to. So I started puking that night, and it was just like black blood. It was so gross. But the first time I puked, it was like a huge spray. It was like, it went all over my bed, all over my table with my food and drinks, everywhere. It was pretty gross. Thankfully, every time I puked, there was a nurse that came in right away and would like clean up my mess and everything, wipe my face down, would ask me if I'm okay, would give me more Gravol, change my pain meds, would do everything to make me feel better, which was really good. And then day 2 at the hospital. So clearly I didn't do that much. I brought like coloring stuff and stuff to read, but I just wanted to lay in bed and not do anything. So the first morning when I woke up, I texted my mom like, Mom, come to the hospital. I want to have a shower. It was 24 hours post-op, and I just wanted to have a shower because I had blood like on my face. I had some here. I still had that yellow brownish stuff they put on your face for like disinfectant. And I had blood all over my neck. It was just gross. I had blood everywhere from the surgery. And I just felt really disgusting and like sweaty. So I had a nice shower at the hospital, and then I was supposed to walk. So I'd go for like little 2-3 minute walks here and there, but not that much because they would get exhausted. And I couldn't really breathe, so I was always out of breath. Just walking from my bed to the washroom, I was out of breath. And it was like 15 steps to get out of my bed to the washroom. And then I started eating a bit. People going to surgery, Gatorade was my best friend for the first week. It was the only thing that I actually felt like drinking. Because water, you just get tired of water. Broth, can't even look at broth anymore, and it's been 6 weeks. But Gatorade is the one thing that I actually drank a lot at the hospital and when I was back home. So I drank a lot of Gatorade. I had that soup at the hospital, but it wasn't too good. Also, to eat, I had a syringe, and I would stick it to the back right here because my teeth were closed, and then I would just like squirt it in my mouth. So I wasn't actually eating with a spoon, and I ate with a syringe for about 2 weeks. And then day 3 came at the hospital. So after the second night, 48 hours post-op, and I was just so sick and tired of being in the hospital and being in a bed. Like, I just wanted to leave, and it was so noisy at the hospital. You always had those machines, and I had an oxygen machine beside me, and I could always hear it. And like, if the IV was out of medicine, it would start beeping. So I was just so sick and tired. It was 5 a.m. and I was texting my parents like, come get me, I want to go home, I want to go home. So by 11 a.m. I was home. I took a nice warm bath for like half an hour, just laid in there. And then I just put nice clean PJs on and just watched TV all day. And that's pretty much what I did for the rest of recovery, is to watch TV. I just sat in front of the couch and watched TV. And surprisingly, I would say for about the first 2 weeks, I was not bored at all. Because I just had no energy to do anything. So watching TV and like just sitting there was doing something for me. I didn't want to do anything. But a lot of people were texting me and asking me if they could come visit me. So of course you have to be nice, and you're like, sure, come visit me. But let me tell you how tiring that was. Having someone come visit you, and like I had to move from the couch. I couldn't stay on the couch. I had to go downstairs and be with them. Was so tiring. So on the first night I had one of my yoga teachers come visit me, and that was okay because there was only one person. The Friday I didn't have anyone, and then over the weekend I think I had like 8 visitors come visit me. So in between each visitor I would go for a 20-minute like to an hour nap because I was just so exhausted. Also, a lot from watching videos, I always also found out that a lot of people don't really sleep well after surgery, but that was not my case. I've had trouble sleeping my whole life, and after surgery I've never slept that good. Like, I would sleep through a whole 10-hour night and wake up in the morning, refresh, go for a nap in the middle afternoon, and then sleep for another 10 hours. So that was pretty much my routine for 2 weeks. I would also sleep on an incline, so I would move from either the couch to my bed. So I slept on an incline for, I want to say, 2 to 3 weeks post-op, because my nose was so stuffy, and every time I laid down, all the mucus felt like it would just come down and I couldn't breathe anymore. So sleeping on an incline did help, and I'm 6 weeks post-op and I still sleep on an incline, on a slight incline, because I just don't know how I feel about sleeping with my head flat on a pillow right now. Around day 5 after surgery, we had some friends over and we started playing some cards. And I think I was moving more than usual, getting more blood circulation through my body, and my face just went poof, and it was tingly. Like, my face was defreezing, and it was the weirdest feeling ever, but it was so bad because it would defreeze from like here all the way down to my chin. So it wasn't just one spot, it was everything at the same time defreezing. So it was so bad, so tingly. But then I woke up the next morning and I could feel like this part, start feeling my cheeks, my lips, and everything. So then after day 5, I would say, is when everything started like getting more into a routine and easier to handle. I was getting less uncomfortable to do things. I was walking just a bit more, but I would get really tired still. Going out of the house for more than 45 minutes, I wasn't able to do it. I was just so exhausted and tired after that and would sleep 2 to 3 hours. But the following weeks, I stopped taking pain meds. I would say around week 1, I would take them sometime in the middle of the night or like after a shower at night. And then on day 16, I got my splint out. So almost 2.5 weeks later, I got my splint out, and that felt really good because then I started chopping up all my food, and I would just swallow it into small pieces and eat it with a baby spoon instead of the syringe, which was a lot easier. I'm 6 weeks post-op, and I'm pretty sure all my swelling has gone down except for this cheek. And parts of my face that are still numb is this entire chin area. And I'm starting to have more feeling right here, but my lip is completely numb. And like this area, I would say is like 40% numb. If I do this, I've got tingly feeling that comes in. But besides that, I think that's pretty much it. So my full experience with double jaw surgery, I know I'm only 6 weeks post-op. I still haven't started eating properly yet, but I would do it again. The first week was hard and tough, but it wasn't like excruciating pain. It was pain that was manageable. If you took your pain meds regularly, at least I was fine. Like, of course it hurts. It's a surgery. They break your bones. They move your jaw forward or backwards, whatever. Of course it's gonna hurt. But I would do it again because it wasn't like life scarring. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to message me or comment below. So, yeah. Here's my new smile.